Kate's first international trip since her cancer recovery, stepping out on her own, a research trip of sorts, learning about a cause she cares deeply about.
Thousands of people have packed the square. People are hanging out the windows, and you can see her right here, meeting some of her littlest fans.
For years, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has been viewed as one of the monarchy's most dependable figures. Yet behind palace walls, a series of quiet decisions has prompted a growing question among royal observers. As King Charles III continues his battle with cancer and Prince William assumes an increasingly prominent role, has something far more significant already begun unfolding inside the royal family than the public has been told? What if the most important transfer of royal authority isn't happening through a coronation, but through a series of carefully calculated decisions taking place right now? Section 1. When most people think about royal succession, they imagine dramatic moments that become part of history books. They picture crowns being passed down, grand ceremonies inside Westminster Abbey, and official announcements broadcast across the world. But historically, some of the most important transitions inside the British monarchy have not begun with public declarations. They have started quietly, behind closed doors, through subtle decisions that only reveal their true significance years later. That is precisely why recent developments surrounding King Charles III, Prince William, and Catherine, Princess of Wales, have captured so much attention among royal commentators. On the surface, everything appears relatively stable. King Charles III remains on the throne. Buckingham Palace continues to carry out its duties. Official engagements continue. Public appearances are carefully managed. Yet beneath that appearance of continuity, observers have begun noticing a pattern that is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. And once you see that pattern, a much larger question emerges. Is the monarchy already preparing for a future that may arrive sooner than expected? The answer begins with a reality that Buckingham Palace has never attempted to hide, although it has understandably chosen to manage it with great care. King Charles III is still undergoing cancer treatment. When the king's diagnosis was first announced in 2024, the news immediately shocked both the United Kingdom and royal followers around the world. What had originally appeared to be a routine medical procedure unexpectedly led doctors to discover cancer, forcing the monarch into a situation few could have predicted at the beginning of his reign. While Buckingham Palace later clarified that the condition was not prostate cancer, officials declined to reveal additional medical details, citing privacy concerns. That decision was entirely understandable, yet it also created an information vacuum that naturally led to questions. How serious was the illness? How long would treatment continue? And perhaps most importantly, what would this mean for the future of the monarchy? Those questions became even more significant when King Charles III later provided an update suggesting that treatment had been reduced rather than completed. Notice the distinction. Reduced. Not finished. Not concluded. Not ended. For many royal watchers, that single word carried enormous weight because it suggested that while progress had been made, the situation remained ongoing. At the same time, Prince William, the future king, began appearing more frequently at events that traditionally carry substantial constitutional and symbolic importance. Coincidence? Possibly, but this is where the story becomes more interesting. Because the changes were not limited to Prince William. At almost the exact same time, Catherine, Princess of Wales, appeared to be moving steadily toward the center of royal operations as well. For years, Catherine had already earned widespread public respect through consistency, discipline, and a remarkably careful approach to royal life. Unlike many public figures who generate headlines through controversy, Catherine built her reputation through reliability. Yet during the past year, something appears to have changed. The level of trust being placed in Catherine seems greater than ever before. And that observation brings us to one of the most discussed developments inside royal circles. Reports began emerging that Catherine, Princess of Wales, would become the first Princess of Wales in more than a century to participate in granting royal warrants. To many viewers, that might sound like a relatively technical administrative detail. In reality, it is anything but. Royal warrants represent one of the monarchy's most prestigious forms of endorsement. They connect businesses directly to the royal household and symbolize confidence from the institution itself. Historically, these responsibilities have been closely associated with senior members of the monarchy. So when Catherine, Princess of Wales, was brought into this sphere, observers immediately recognized that something important was happening. Not because a title had changed, not because a constitutional announcement had been made, but because responsibility was being shared. And whenever responsibility begins moving, attention inevitably follows. What exactly was King Charles III trying to accomplish? Was this simply practical planning during a period of health uncertainty? Or was the monarch quietly accelerating preparations for the future generation? Those questions became even more intriguing when another extraordinary claim began attracting attention. According to reports circulating among royal commentators, Catherine, Princess of Wales, was entrusted with responsibility connected to the crown jewels themselves. Now, whether every detail of those reports reflects formal constitutional reality remains a subject of debate. However, what matters for our discussion is the symbolism surrounding the claim. Because the crown jewels are not merely historic treasures. They are among the most powerful symbols of royal authority anywhere in the world. For centuries, they have represented continuity, legitimacy, duty, and the enduring nature of the British crown. Which raises an obvious question. Why does Catherine continue to find herself at the center of so many conversations about the future of the monarchy? And perhaps even more importantly, what has Catherine done over the years that has earned such extraordinary confidence from King Charles III and the wider royal household? Because the answer may reveal far more about the future direction of the monarchy than many people realize. Before we examine that question, tell us what you think so far. Do you believe King Charles III is simply delegating responsibilities while focusing on his health? Or do you think Buckingham Palace is quietly preparing Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, for a much larger role than the public fully understands? And as we move forward, an even more revealing part of the story begins to emerge, because Catherine's rise inside the royal family did not happen overnight. It was the result of years of careful decisions, personal sacrifices, and a remarkably disciplined approach that distinguished Catherine, Princess of Wales, from almost every other modern royal figure. What makes a monarch place extraordinary trust in one person while countless others occupy positions of influence around the institution? Is it loyalty, experience, public popularity, or something far less visible that develops only through years of observation behind palace walls? As questions continue to swirl around Catherine, Princess of Wales, and the increasingly significant responsibilities associated with her role, many royal observers believe the answer may lie not in recent events, but in a series of personal trials that quietly reshaped how the royal family viewed Kate Middleton long before the public fully understood what was happening. One of the most remarkable aspects of Catherine, Princess of Wales, is that Catherine never entered royal life as someone raised within aristocratic traditions or palace culture. Unlike many historical royal consorts who spent their early years surrounded by noble customs and institutional expectations, Catherine Middleton came from a family whose success was built through entrepreneurship, discipline, and steady hard work. That distinction may appear minor at first glance, but inside the royal household, where centuries of tradition shape daily life, adapting successfully to royal expectations requires far more than elegance, public charm, or media popularity. Over the years, Catherine, Princess of Wales, developed a reputation for something that Buckingham Palace has always valued highly but rarely discusses publicly. Catherine developed a reputation for patience. While many public figures seek immediate influence, Catherine Middleton appeared willing to spend years learning the institution before attempting to shape it. Royal commentators have frequently pointed out that Catherine, Princess of Wales, never seemed interested in rushing ahead of royal protocol or challenging established structures. Instead, Kate Middleton gradually earned confidence through consistency, and in many ways, that slow approach may have become one of Catherine's greatest strengths. Yet the true test of character rarely arrives during comfortable periods of stability. The real measure often emerges when circumstances become uncertain, unpredictable, and emotionally exhausting. For Catherine, Princess of Wales, that test arrived in a way nobody could have anticipated. When Catherine Middleton underwent abdominal surgery in early 2024, public attention immediately intensified. Initially, Buckingham Palace released only limited information regarding the procedure, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty that quickly spread across international media. As weeks passed without major public appearances from Catherine, Princess of Wales, speculation continued growing. Questions multiplied, rumors circulated, social media conversations became increasingly intense. Yet throughout that period, Catherine Middleton remained almost entirely absent from public view. Then came the announcement that changed everything. In a deeply personal video message, Catherine, Princess of Wales, revealed that cancer had been discovered and that preventative chemotherapy had become part of the treatment process. For millions watching around the world, the revelation transformed what had seemed like a period of temporary recovery into something much more serious and deeply human. But this is where the story becomes particularly important, because Catherine Middleton's response to that challenge may have altered perceptions inside the monarchy itself. Rather than creating public drama, engaging in emotional conflicts, or turning personal hardship into a prolonged public campaign, Catherine, Princess of Wales, approached recovery with remarkable restraint. The Princess of Wales focused on treatment, family, and health while maintaining dignity under extraordinary scrutiny. That approach generated widespread public sympathy, but perhaps more importantly, it demonstrated qualities that royal institutions have historically valued for generations: resilience, discipline, composure under pressure. And if Catherine, Princess of Wales, was quietly proving those qualities to the public, what impact might that have been having inside Buckingham Palace itself? That question becomes even more intriguing when examining what happened after Catherine Middleton gradually returned to public life. Many people expected Catherine, Princess of Wales, to reduce responsibilities permanently after such a difficult experience. Instead, observers noticed something rather different unfolding. As Catherine's health improved and remission was later announced, Catherine Middleton slowly resumed royal engagements and appeared increasingly comfortable carrying larger responsibilities once again. The return was measured and carefully managed, but the direction was unmistakable. The public was seeing Catherine, Princess of Wales, return. The institution appeared to be seeing Catherine, Princess of Wales, evolve. And that distinction may be extremely important. Royal historians frequently note that some of the most influential figures within the monarchy gained authority not through titles alone, but through demonstrating reliability during periods of uncertainty. When institutions face challenges, dependable individuals often become more valuable than charismatic ones. In that context, many observers believe Catherine Middleton's handling of personal adversity may have reinforced confidence in Catherine's ability to represent continuity during difficult periods. At the same time, Prince William, the future king, was assuming a growing number of responsibilities connected to the future direction of the monarchy. Together, Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, increasingly appeared not merely as senior royals carrying out engagements, but as a partnership preparing for larger responsibilities ahead. Could that be one reason why King Charles III appears willing to place greater trust in Catherine, Princess of Wales? Many royal watchers believe so. Others argue that the explanation extends even further. Because beyond public appearances and official engagements, Catherine Middleton has become one of the monarchy's most effective assets in maintaining public confidence. Polling conducted over recent years has consistently placed Catherine, Princess of Wales, among the most respected members of the royal family. In an era when public trust can fluctuate rapidly and institutions face constant scrutiny, maintaining credibility has become an increasingly valuable asset. That raises another fascinating question. When King Charles III considers the long-term future of the monarchy, how much importance is being placed on public trust, stability, and continuity? And if those factors are becoming increasingly important, does Catherine, Princess of Wales, represent exactly the kind of figure the institution believes it needs moving forward? Many commentators believe that possibility cannot be ignored. The symbolism surrounding Catherine Middleton's growing prominence at major state occasions has only fueled that discussion further. Whether appearing alongside Prince William, participating in significant national ceremonies, or wearing historically important pieces from the royal collection, Catherine, Princess of Wales, increasingly appears connected to symbols traditionally associated with continuity and future leadership. Of course, symbolism alone does not determine succession, authority, or constitutional reality. Yet within royal history, symbolism often reveals where institutions believe they are heading long before official announcements ever arrive. And that may be exactly why so many observers continue paying close attention. Because the story no longer seems to be about whether Catherine, Princess of Wales, occupies an important role within the monarchy. That question appears largely settled. The more interesting question now concerns just how important that role may become over the coming years. Before we continue, share your thoughts below. Do you believe Catherine, Princess of Wales, earned King Charles III confidence primarily through personal resilience and loyalty, or do you think Buckingham Palace sees something even larger in Catherine Middleton's future role within the monarchy? And if you are enjoying this deep dive into the evolving future of the royal family, be sure to subscribe and join our community, because the next part of the story explores an even bigger question, one that goes beyond Catherine herself and directly into the growing responsibilities of Prince William, the future king, and what those changes may reveal about the monarchy's preparations for the years ahead. As Catherine, Princess of Wales, continued attracting attention for the confidence seemingly being placed in her by King Charles III, another development was unfolding almost simultaneously, and many royal observers believe this second development may actually be the more significant story. Because while discussions often focus on Catherine Middleton's growing prominence, the future of the monarchy ultimately rests upon Prince William, the future king. And when royal commentators began examining recent changes more closely, a striking pattern started to emerge, one that suggested Prince William was no longer simply preparing for a future role someday, but increasingly operating within responsibilities that place Prince William much closer to the center of royal leadership today. For decades, the British monarchy has relied upon a carefully structured hierarchy in which authority gradually flows from one generation to the next. Traditionally, that process unfolds over many years, allowing future monarchs to learn, observe, and gain experience before assuming the crown. However, circumstances surrounding King Charles III's health have naturally accelerated public interest in how that transition might eventually occur. While Buckingham Palace has consistently emphasized that King Charles III remains fully committed to fulfilling royal duties, many observers have noticed that Prince William has quietly become one of the institution's most visible and active representatives. What makes this particularly fascinating is not simply the number of appearances Prince William has undertaken. The real story may be found in the nature of those appearances. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, has increasingly participated in events carrying constitutional importance, diplomatic significance, and symbolic weight. These are not merely ceremonial engagements designed for visibility. These are responsibilities connected to the functioning and representation of the monarchy itself. And that raises an important question. If Prince William is gradually becoming more involved in the monarchy's most significant responsibilities, what does Buckingham Palace expect the next few years to look like? Many royal watchers believe that question deserves far more attention than it currently receives. At the same time, Prince William's approach to leadership appears noticeably different from previous generations of royals. While King Charles III spent decades developing expertise in environmental issues, architecture, and charitable causes before ascending the throne, Prince William has increasingly focused on modern challenges affecting ordinary citizens, including homelessness, mental health, and environmental sustainability. Through initiatives such as the Earthshot Prize, Prince William has attempted to position the monarchy within conversations that extend far beyond traditional royal ceremonies. That distinction matters because every future monarch leaves a unique imprint on the institution. Queen Elizabeth II became associated with stability. King Charles III became associated with advocacy and modernization. So what legacy is Prince William attempting to build before becoming king? Could Prince William be preparing a monarchy that looks substantially different from the one inherited from previous generations? And if that transformation is already underway, where does Catherine, Princess of Wales, fit into that vision? The more closely observers examine recent developments, the harder it becomes to separate the future roles of Prince William and Catherine Middleton. Increasingly, Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, appear less like individual senior royals carrying separate responsibilities and more like a unified leadership partnership preparing for a much larger role within the institution. Public appearances frequently reinforce that impression. Major events often highlight not only Prince William's growing authority, but also Catherine Middleton's expanding visibility and influence. For many historians, This dynamic evokes memories of previous royal partnerships that helped stabilize the monarchy during periods of uncertainty. Yet another question soon emerges. Could King Charles III be deliberately encouraging this partnership to take on greater prominence because the monarchy benefits from presenting continuity through both Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, together? Some commentators believe that possibility cannot be dismissed. Others point toward public perception as an equally important factor. Across multiple years, surveys have consistently shown strong public support for both Prince William and Catherine Middleton. In an era when public trust can fluctuate rapidly and institutions face unprecedented scrutiny, maintaining confidence among citizens has become increasingly important. Unlike previous generations that operated within a far more controlled media environment, modern royals exist within a world of constant commentary, social media analysis, and 24-hour news cycles. Navigating that environment requires a unique combination of discipline, adaptability, and public credibility. Many observers argue that Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, have managed that challenge more effectively than most. But if public support is indeed becoming one of the monarchy's greatest assets, another fascinating question appears. How much influence does public confidence have when senior royal decisions are being made behind palace walls? While constitutional authority does not depend upon popularity alone, institutions inevitably pay attention to public sentiment. The monarchy survives not only through legal structures and historical tradition, but also through maintaining a relationship with the people it serves. For that reason, many analysts believe that the growing visibility of Prince William and Catherine Middleton reflects more than personal trust. It may also reflect strategic thinking about the monarchy's long-term future. And then there is another layer to this story that receives far less discussion. For years, conversations about the future of the royal family often centered on divisions, controversies, and public disagreements involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Those stories generated enormous global attention and frequently dominated headlines. Yet while media focus remained fixed on conflict, Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, continued carrying out royal duties with remarkable consistency. As a result, an interesting shift occurred. The conversation gradually moved away from who had left the institution and toward who remained responsible for guiding it forward. That transition may prove more significant than many people realize, because institutions are ultimately shaped not by those standing outside their structures, but by those entrusted with leading them from within. And in recent years, Prince William and Catherine Middleton increasingly appear to occupy that position. Still, perhaps the most revealing aspect of all involves timing. Many of the developments attracting attention today have occurred during a period when both King Charles III and Catherine, Princess of Wales, faced serious health challenges. Rather than weakening public confidence in the monarchy, those difficulties appear to have accelerated conversations about continuity, preparation, and future leadership. In other words, challenges that could have destabilized the institution may instead have highlighted which figures are expected to carry it forward. That possibility brings us back to the central question. When King Charles III makes decisions that place additional responsibilities upon Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, are those decisions simply practical responses to present circumstances, or are they subtle signals regarding the monarchy's long-term direction? The answer remains unclear. Yet each passing month seems to add another piece to the puzzle. Before we continue, share your thoughts below, because this question sits at the heart of everything happening inside the royal family right now. Do you believe Prince William, the future king, is already functioning as the monarchy's primary leader in all but name, or do you think public observers are reading too much into routine royal responsibilities? And if you are enjoying this deep dive into the future of the monarchy, make sure to subscribe and join our growing community, because the next chapter takes us into an even more intriguing area, examining the powerful symbolism surrounding Catherine, Princess of Wales, the historic royal treasures increasingly associated with Catherine Middleton, and why those symbols may reveal more about the monarchy's future than official statements ever could. If the previous developments suggested that Catherine, Princess of Wales, was becoming increasingly central to the future of the monarchy, the next part of the story may be even more revealing because it moves beyond official duties and into something the royal family has always understood exceptionally well: symbolism. Throughout royal history, Power has never been communicated only through speeches, announcements, or constitutional documents. Quite often, the strongest messages have been delivered through traditions, ceremonies, and historic objects whose meaning stretches back hundreds of years. That is why many royal watchers believe some of the most fascinating clues about Catherine Middleton's future role may not be found in official statements at all, but in the symbols increasingly surrounding Catherine, Princess of Wales. To understand why this matters, it is important to recognize that every significant object within the monarchy carries a story. A crown is never simply a crown. A tiara is never merely jewelry. A state banquet is never just a formal dinner. Within royal culture, every detail is examined, interpreted, and understood within the context of history. When senior members of the royal family appear wearing specific pieces from the royal collection, those choices often generate discussion because many historians believe such appearances can reflect continuity, trust, seniority, and institutional priorities. And this is where Catherine Middleton begins attracting extraordinary attention. Over recent years, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has increasingly appeared wearing some of the most historically significant pieces associated with the royal family. Royal commentators have repeatedly noted that several of these items were traditionally linked with queens, consorts, or women occupying the highest levels of royal life. While every appearance can certainly be explained through protocol, event requirements, or practical considerations, many observers believe the broader pattern deserves attention because the frequency of these appearances appears to be increasing rather than decreasing. That naturally raises a fascinating question. Why does Catherine, Princess of Wales, seem to be appearing more frequently alongside symbols traditionally associated with continuity and future leadership? Some royal analysts argue that the answer is straightforward. As the wife of Prince William, the future king, Catherine Middleton naturally occupies a position that will continue growing in importance over time. According to this interpretation, the symbolism simply reflects Catherine's place within the established line of succession. Yet others believe something more deliberate may be taking place. Not because constitutional realities are changing, not because formal announcements are imminent, but because institutions often prepare public perception long before major transitions occur. If that theory contains even a small element of truth, then many of Catherine Middleton's recent appearances begin looking slightly different. And that is precisely why attention has increasingly shifted toward reports regarding responsibilities connected to royal treasures, royal traditions, and the broader symbolism of the crown itself. Among all royal symbols, few carry greater significance than the crown jewels. Carefully protected and deeply woven into Britain's history, the crown jewels represent continuity stretching across centuries of monarchs, national events, and constitutional evolution. Their value extends far beyond diamonds, gold, and precious stones. The crown jewels symbolize legitimacy, authority, and the enduring identity of the monarchy itself. Because of that significance, any discussion linking Catherine, Princess of Wales, to responsibilities associated with such symbols immediately attracts enormous interest. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect is not the symbolism itself. The truly interesting question concerns trust. Why would King Charles III place extraordinary confidence in Catherine Middleton at this particular moment in royal history? The answer may reveal something important about how the monarchy evaluates leadership. Unlike elected politicians who rise through campaigns and public votes, senior royals are often assessed through years of observation. Reliability matters. Stability matters. Discipline matters. The ability to remain composed during periods of scrutiny matters. From that perspective, many royal observers argue that Catherine, Princess of Wales, has spent more than a decade quietly building a reputation for precisely those qualities. And what makes that reputation even more remarkable is that Catherine Middleton achieved it during one of the most challenging periods in modern royal history. Over the past decade, the royal family has faced leadership transitions, public controversies, changing media environments, shifting public expectations, and serious health concerns affecting senior members. Through each phase, Catherine, Princess of Wales, maintained an image of consistency that many supporters view as one of the monarchy's most valuable assets. Could that consistency explain why Catherine Middleton now appears increasingly connected to the institution's most important traditions? Many believe it does. Yet another layer of the story emerges when examining how public perception has evolved. When Catherine Middleton first joined the royal family after marrying Prince William in 2011, discussions often focused on adaptation. Could Catherine Middleton successfully navigate royal life? Could Catherine Middleton handle the scrutiny? Could Catherine Middleton endure the pressure associated with becoming part of one of the world's most famous families? Years later, those questions have largely disappeared. Instead, a completely different conversation has emerged. Today, many observers are asking whether Catherine, Princess of Wales, has become one of the monarchy's strongest sources of stability. That shift in perception is significant because public expectations influence how future leadership is viewed. The more Catherine Middleton becomes associated with continuity, responsibility, and trust, the more naturally conversations about the monarchy's future begin, including Catherine, Princess of Wales alongside Prince William. And speaking of Prince William, the future king remains an essential part of this equation. Because no matter how much attention Catherine Middleton receives, Catherine's growing prominence cannot be separated from Prince William's expanding role. In many ways, the public increasingly views Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, as a partnership rather than individual figures operating independently. The future direction of the monarchy appears increasingly connected to both individuals working together. That partnership may ultimately become one of the monarchy's greatest strengths. Historically, successful royal eras have often featured strong partnerships capable of balancing duty, public expectations, and institutional continuity. Many royal historians believe that public confidence tends to grow when leadership appears united, stable, and focused on long-term responsibility rather than short-term controversy. If that assessment is correct, then recent developments surrounding Prince William and Catherine Middleton may represent something larger than individual promotions or isolated decisions. They may represent preparation. Preparation not necessarily for an immediate transition. Preparation not necessarily for dramatic change. But preparation for a future that appears to be arriving steadily closer with each passing year. And that future brings us back to King Charles III. Because every discussion ultimately returns to the same question. What exactly is King Charles III seeing that prompts such visible confidence in both Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales? Is King Charles III simply ensuring continuity during a difficult period of personal health challenges? Or is King Charles III deliberately shaping public understanding of the monarchy's next chapter long before that chapter officially begins? The answer remains uncertain. However, uncertainty itself may be part of what makes this story so compelling. Because while official announcements remain limited, the pattern continues growing clearer. More responsibility, more visibility, more symbolism, more trust, and with every development, public curiosity seems to increase. Before we continue, tell us your perspective, because this may be one of the most important questions facing the royal family today. Do you believe Catherine, Princess of Wales, is simply receiving recognition for years of loyalty and service? Or do you think King Charles III is quietly positioning Catherine Middleton closer to the heart of the monarchy's future than many people realize? Share your thoughts below, and if you are enjoying this deep exploration of royal history, symbolism, and succession, make sure to subscribe and join our growing community, because the final chapter takes us directly into the biggest mystery of all, whether the quiet changes surrounding King Charles III, Prince William, and Catherine, Princess of Wales represent ordinary royal evolution, or the early stages of a transition that could reshape the monarchy for an entire generation. After examining the growing responsibilities of Catherine, Princess of Wales, the expanding role of Prince William, the future king, and the symbolism increasingly surrounding both figures, we arrive at the question that may matter more than any other. What are all these developments actually telling us about the future of the monarchy? Because while headlines often focus on individual events, royal history teaches a different lesson. The most important changes rarely reveal themselves through a single announcement. Instead, those changes emerge through patterns. And right now, many royal observers believe a very clear pattern is beginning to take shape around King Charles III, Prince William, and Catherine, Princess of Wales. What makes this moment particularly fascinating is that there are two very different ways to interpret everything we have discussed. The first interpretation is the simplest. According to this view, King Charles III remains fully committed to the throne, and is simply managing the realities of ongoing cancer treatment while ensuring that the institution continues functioning smoothly. From this perspective, the increasing visibility of Prince William and Catherine Middleton is not evidence of an approaching transition, but rather a practical response to modern royal demands. The monarchy is a large institution with countless responsibilities, and sharing those responsibilities among trusted senior royals makes perfect sense. Many commentators believe this explanation is entirely reasonable. Yet another interpretation continues attracting attention. According to some royal watchers, the decisions surrounding Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, appear unusually deliberate. The timing of expanded responsibilities, the growing symbolism associated with Catherine Middleton, the visibility of Prince William at major engagements, and the steady movement of important duties toward the next generation all seem connected. Not connected through official announcements or constitutional changes, but connected through preparation. And if preparation is indeed taking place, then preparation for what exactly? That question remains unanswered, which is precisely why public interest continues growing. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this entire story is how much Catherine, Princess of Wales, has evolved within the royal family over the years. When Catherine Middleton first entered royal life, many people viewed Kate Middleton primarily as Prince William's future wife. Today, Catherine, Princess of Wales, is increasingly discussed as one of the monarchy's central figures, a royal whose stability, discipline, and public credibility have become deeply valuable assets during a period of uncertainty. That transformation did not happen overnight. That transformation was built through years of service, adaptation, and resilience. And perhaps that is why King Charles III appears to place such confidence in Catherine Middleton today. But there is another question worth considering. What happens if the challenges facing King Charles III continue longer than expected? Would Prince William, the future king, assume even greater responsibilities? Would Catherine, Princess of Wales, continue moving closer to the center of royal leadership? Or would Buckingham Palace seek to maintain the current balance for as long as possible? At this stage, nobody outside the royal household can answer those questions with certainty. However, the existence of those questions alone tells us something important. The future is no longer being discussed as a distant concept. The future is already part of today's conversation. And perhaps that is the biggest revelation of all. Whether one believes these developments represent ordinary royal evolution or the early stages of something more significant, one reality is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, are no longer viewed simply as future leaders. Prince William and Catherine Middleton are increasingly being viewed as essential pillars of the monarchy right now. That shift in perception may ultimately prove more important than any title, ceremony, or official statement. Because institutions survive through public confidence. Institutions survive through continuity. And institutions survive when people believe capable leadership is ready for whatever comes next. As the story continues unfolding, millions will be watching closely to see what decisions King Charles III makes, what responsibilities Prince William assumes, and how Catherine, Princess of Wales, continues shaping the monarchy's public image during a period unlike any the royal family has experienced in recent years. So now we would love to hear from you. Do you believe King Charles III is simply ensuring stability while focusing on his health? Or do you believe the monarchy is quietly preparing Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, for a larger role much sooner than many people expect? Has Catherine Middleton earned this growing trust through years of loyalty and resilience? Or do you think there are still major challenges ahead for the future king and future queen? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because your perspective is always one of the most valuable parts of these discussions. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the royal family, Prince William, Catherine, Princess of Wales, King Charles III, Buckingham Palace, and the future of the monarchy, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join our growing community of royal watchers. We have many more fascinating stories, hidden royal dynamics, and historical mysteries still to explore. Until next time, thank you for watching, and remember, in the world of royalty, the most important changes are often the ones happening quietly, long before the rest of the world realizes what they mean.